New Orleans Saints versus Seattle Seahawks preview and prediction with Pro Football Focus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the New Orleans Saints go on the road. First road game, back-to-back in the Superdome, and now the PNW. They head out west to face the Seattle Seahawks. They're showing plus 7.5. I haven't checked it this morning, but somewhere between 7.5 and 7. It's been there pretty much all week. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this.
All right, Saints and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Little Klint Kubiak revenge game. I'll talk about that in a second. Where do you want to start with this game?
Interesting matchup because I think the Saints offensively, they haven't played that bad in the first 2 weeks. I just think they've gotten off to slow starts. First quarter, fourth quarter, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, we say it every week, and it's true every week. But you have to start better. You have to, and you know what? It's very frustrating because we did start better last week until we didn't. Until the drop / behind / whatever touchdown pass into the missed field goal. All of a sudden, good drive turns into a disaster, right? And that, who knows the flow of the game if you get there. The Saints, they feel, and maybe it's because, and sometimes I have to try and decide, like, is it because I'm covering the team and close to the team, or is this really how it is? I feel like the Saints, more than any team, needs some momentum. Like they need an early score or a win or something like that to just unlock the season. I feel like, you know how when you're pressing and you're pressing and you're pressing and you read the news clippings and you know what's going on and you want the win or you want whatever to happen, and it makes it almost harder for it to happen. It makes it almost like, because you're so tight, you're so tense, you're so whatever. I mean, that's how I feel like it is with the Saints. And I honestly think if this team went up like 10-0 immediately, I think they'd just roll. I think all that pressure would come off of them. They'd just start playing free, and I think they would let it rip. Now, that same thing could have been said against San Francisco, right? If it's 13-3 going into halftime and the Saints are losing, bad news bears. Like, we cannot get behind the 8 ball. We cannot continue to get in a situation where we are leaving it too late. We're leaving. I feel like if the Cardinals and the 49ers game, if they would have had 5 quarters instead of 4, I think we win the game. But unfortunately, there's 4 quarters. Okay. So the Saints are taking way too long to get going. And they're not forcing enough turnovers. They're not getting to the quarterback. Those things have to change too.
Those big moments in games for you to put up points. They haven't done it, but they've been up and down. I think a big matchup individually I'm looking at is the Saints and this offensive line. It's still not great, and the 2 guard spots to me have been a concern. Trevor Penning's been out, so it's been Dylan Ray.
Yeah, they've been horrible at guard. Injury problems this week. I'm filming this on a Friday, TGIF, OTF. But so we don't really know the extent of who's going to play, who's not going to play, whatever. Radens has been ruled out. Penning is, who knows. Chase Young, I would assume, is not going to play. He hadn't practiced in a month. So, it is what it is. The guard play has been bad, for sure. And we got to fix that. Cesar Ruiz has to go from being the worst guard in the NFL to just serviceable, just average, just like what we used to say about Trevor Penning. Like, hey, man, we don't need you to be, a Hall of Fame right tackle. We just need you to exist. We just need you to do what a mailbox can do if we go to Home Depot and get one. Put a fence post there, whatever. Like, just exist. If Cesar Ruiz can just exist, I think we'll be all right. Now, the Seahawks defense is gnarly. No doubt about it. Now, San Francisco's defense is gnarly too. Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle, all 3 good defensively in certain spots. Like Arizona, their secondary, San Francisco all around, and then Seattle's all around as well. McDonald, their head coach, is a defensive guy. He's super conservative offensively. We know what Kubiak's going to do. Sam Darnold, same old story. Get to him, right? Sam Darnold struggles under pressure, especially interior pressure. Now, the issue with that is the Saints can't get pressure. So, it is what it is. JSN, I heard this going into the season. I heard that Sam Darnold just looks at JSN. It's just one read, boom, he finds him, and he targets him, whatever. This is probably a good opportunity to ladder him and take his over in receptions and all that stuff. So we'll do a gambling preview later on when some more numbers come out, but just something to think about. And the Saints have been weak in the secondary, which isn't great. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, that combo. We know Klint Kubiak. We know the running scheme. We know it's that zone running scheme. So Brandon Staley's going to have to do. He's going to have to stop it. And Staley, this game is so much more on the defense. This game is so much more on can we get off the field on third down? Can we get after the quarterback? So can we make turnovers? Like those things, that's what's going to dictate this game.
At left guard, he's got a 56.9 PFF grade, and Cesar Ruiz has really struggled on the right side, a 35.8 PFF grade. And then you look at these two big defensive tackles that Seattle's got in the middle of it. I thought these two guys really controlled the game against Pittsburgh so well last week. Leonard Williams, obviously Seattle's best defensive player last year, and I think once again this year at a 79 PFF grade. And Byron Murphy's given him some real juice right now as a pass rusher. 7 pressures and 2 sacks through 2 games. I think these two guys are a big key. If the Saints want to run between the tackles, if they want to get in those inside zone runs that Kellen Moore loves so much, they got to go right through what's really going to, I think, very soon going to become a brick wall with the veteran in Leonard Williams and the young gun in Byron Murphy. I think this is a big matchup I'm looking for on the inside, and even the way that these two align against Talisa Fuaga and against Kelvin Banks, who have been kind of up and down lately. So I think the Saints offensive line has a tall task blocking these two guys on the inside for Seattle.
Now, what does that mean? Okay, how do we attack that as gamblers? How do we attack that just handicapping the game? I would look at it like the Saints are probably not going to be able to run the football successfully. Or you're not going to predict that they can because it's an advantage versus a disadvantage. You also add the Saints, they're probably going to be down because it's a 7.5-point game on the road. So you attack that with Spencer Rattler pass attempts. You attack that with Juwan Johnson receptions. You attack that with Chris Olave receptions. You know the drill. More than likely, we will be laddering Juwan Johnson again. We'll be taking overs on all the receptions because we know the Saints are willing to pivot if something doesn't work. And they're willing to let Rattler throw the ball around. And we also know when Rattler does throw the ball around, it's going to be short, it's going to be intermediate, it's going to be quick. Get the ball out, get it to your receivers, get it to your tight end, and we know who he's going to throw to. We know through 2 games, Chris Olave has 7.5 receptions a game. It's a lot of volume. And Juwan Johnson's right there too. A lot of volume. Alvin Kamara had, 6 catches last game? Something like that. So those 3 are the guys. That's who Rattler's going to get the ball to.
Yeah, that was the matchup that I would have highlighted in this game. I think that's the biggest matchup right now is just how poor the Saints interior offensive line is and how on fire it feels like the Saints defensive line is. That could be just a game wrecker in and of itself. I think that Klint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, who was the offensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints last year, him versus his old team. And, it's kind of funny because the Saints, just a 51.8 run defense grade against outside zone so far this season. That's something that Klint Kubiak likes to often go to, is that outside zone run game.
Saints have been good against the run. Stop James Conner, contain Christian McCaffrey. Can they do it with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker again? I mean, we know exactly the kind of run scheme that they're gonna have. So I'm not gonna. I feel confident that they'll be able to stop the run.
And so I feel
more confident that they'll be able to stop the run than I do they'll be able to stop JSN.
He'll do that plenty. And he knows this defense very, very well. A lot of the players that are starting this year for the New Orleans Saints were there last year. So seeing these guys in practice, he knows what they're capable of. He kind of knows what the DNA of this defense is going to be. So
I think this is an overrated narrative. You hear it a lot about how returning coach has all this information, whatever, and rarely does it ever play out. Like Ben Johnson just played Detroit, right? And got embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, however much advantage Klint Kubiak has, I would think the players, they they have the same advantage. Like it all kind of washes out. I don't think there's too much. It's a fun talking point, but I don't think there's too much, too much to it.
I think the advantage is there with Kubiak, and I think specifically with Kenneth Walker coming off of a really good game last week, a good score when running behind outside zone, but I think an even better score really just running between the tackles or running north to south. They're just really getting in their groove there, and if they continue that, I think this game will be decently close. I mean, I have it 24-14. I have Seattle winning just because I think they're the.
I mean, Jesus, brother, it was a 10-point game. Damn, he tricked me. I thought he was going to say 24-21 or something. It got pretty close. Yeah, I have it 35-3. Damn. I look. Like I said, I think the Saints are right there. Now, I think I'm probably a little bit higher on Seattle. Two teams that I was way higher on than I think most of the market coming into the season were Seattle and Indy. And Indy has proven me right so far. Seattle, we'll see. I was probably higher on Seattle than I was on Arizona coming into the season. I think Seattle's an interesting team because I like all the pieces of the team, but Darnold is just such a who knows. Literally every game. So who knows? So you got to get to him. If you can force Darnold to have turnovers, I think we can absolutely be in this game. With the Saints, you just assume they're going to be close games. Like right now, it's how we're playing. And I think this is a good barometer of the Saints level. Like this Arizona, Seattle, San Francisco, like you can see like we're kind of right there with these teams. Now, the question is, can we finally get over the hump, get out to a lead, have success early, and not have to chase the game? I'll be live streaming this game, full game, on Sunday. I'll go ahead and tell you, like, we'll know early. If it's 10-0 Seattle, we know exactly what's about to happen. But if the Saints can find success early, they can win this game.
More talented team, but yeah, I could see this being a one-score game. I really can, because it feels like you're right. I think you got to give Spencer Rattler some credit. I think Rattler has been fine. I don't think Rattler has been terrible. I don't think it's like, oh, they have no chance with this guy. I think they've been a lot more competitive through two games than certainly I thought, and a lot of people out there thought they would be. I just don't think they have the overall talent right now.
Yeah, this is a really hard spot. Like, look, you can be good. You can be playing whatever. But to go to Seattle and win a game, like, it's a difficult spot for sure. I mean, Seattle was in Pittsburgh, so there's a little bit of travel for them too, kind of a weird spot for them as well. But, I mean, we are absolutely dogs in this game for a reason. Like, we should not be favored to win this game. Can we win this game? Yeah. But, I would take Saints plus 7.5 before I took Seattle minus 7.5. I'll tell you that.
To beat a team that I think has playoff caliber talent in the Seattle Seahawks. So this one's in Seattle. Obviously, it's a long way to travel for the Saints as well. So I'll have the Seahawks winning this one by 10, 24-14.
I also have them by 10. I felt like mixing in a weird score in one of these games. So 26-16, just to get a weird score in, because I feel like I'm always picking the same scores in all of these games. We'll try to get maybe a scoregami out of it. I don't know. But no, I'm with you. I think Seattle is the better team. Rattler hasn't been playing horrible football. I don't think he's been playing great football either. And I think the Saints team, they've done a nice job. Brandon Staley, with all the zone defenses he runs, has been keeping things within the box and really not giving up too many explosive plays to take themselves out of it. That's a big contrast from what Dennis Allen used to do with all the man coverage he used to run. But I think Seattle at home has the better football team. I'm with you. I think they get that run game going again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Saints are the better team, or the Saints should be favored, or the Saints are going to win this game, or no way they lose, or whatever. 10 out of 10 times we play this game, Seattle probably wins it 7 times, 6 times, whatever. Question is, can you get one of those 30%, inverses? Can you get one this week? And that's it. And it's going to take, when you have these kind of situations, it takes a little bit of luck. It takes a turnover. It takes a broken play. It takes, whatever. But beyond that, it's going to take success early on. And sometimes, I'll tell you this too, the human element, sometimes a travel spot is good in this situation where the Saints have been home for like 5 weeks. They played the Chargers in the first preseason game, then they played the next 2 at home, then they had a bye week, then they had 2 more home games. So they had, it's like the 5th or 6th week that they're home. So it might be nice just to, detach, new environment, trip, sometimes that does a team well. So I do think even though travel also, I'll tell you, is slowly becoming more overrated as a talking point because of how easy travel is now. So you're so comfortable. You're so, like these guys are flying on the best flights and sleeping in the best hotels and eating the best food. Very different, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So travel's kind of whatever here. But I think in this spot, travel's actually good for the Saints, or at least playing out away somewhere else. I think because you kind of get in that rut where you feel like it's the same old song and dance, right? Show up at the Superdome, scores almost the exact same, 2-minute drive to win the game at the end, almost the exact same. Like everything's the same, So it's like, all right, just trying to shake it up a little bit. It's like when Rocky goes to train in Russia or whatever, you know what I'm saying? All right, get on down there in the comments below. Let me know your score prediction. Get you a hat. Look at this thing. Hats everywhere on the store, mugs, shirts. The football collection, ladies and gentlemen. That logo right there. What's going on over here, huh? This logo right here on the shirt, the Skrmetta, face of the franchise. Very comfortable black shirt. I mean, there's a lot on the store. Get in it. Did you think it froze? It didn't. Boom. All right. Peace. See you next video.